Okay guys, so this is my day. I woke up at 5 in the morning, jumped out of bed, got showered, brushed my teeth, got dressed, got in the car. I was out the door by 6. Usually to get to work I leave at 6:30. You wouldn't believe what that half-hour difference does to me of just being able to chill before I have to leave. I drank my Monster with my with all my supplements, and then I took another one and put it in my car. And the 2-hour and 15-minute drive I had to Columbus, I drank that other one. By the time I got there, my brain was so clear and focused. I was like, what? What sorcery is this? And I walked around town and I saw some things I hadn't seen before. They built like this weird dome over one of the intersections and put like a sun shield on it, just like sailcloth. It was really cool. I was really impressed. I'm like, Columbus. They do have a lot of cool stuff for 50,000 people city. But it was just like, it was interesting to walk around. The dynamic of waiting until 9 o'clock was odd. And it said be there 15 minutes early, so I went and I sat down. I'm like, where am I supposed to be? The lovely officers, when I walked in the courthouse, told me where to go. I used the stairs so I could at least burn off some anxiety, which at that point I really didn't have. It was like being drunk without all the nasty side effects. It's just like you're focused on the right now. And I'm like, wow, this is how other people live. This is weird. There's not this cacophony in my head that I can't control and that's telling me all kinds of things that aren't real. So finally figured out I needed to be in the courtrooms as somebody was going in. So I went in and sat down and waited. 9 o'clock comes along. The judge shows up. We all stand up. We all sit down. And then I watch lawyers pairing up with their people and me sitting there by myself. As I started to realize that, you know, I thought I couldn't take my cell phone in. I could have. But at the same time, when I got to my cell phone, he hadn't tried to call me or text me. So that wouldn't have done much good for me. And I didn't save his number because I don't want to save a lawyer's number. So I wait and I wait and I wait and I watch this group go, that group go, that group go. And this guy walks into the courtroom. He looks around and I look at him and I do my usual thing where it's like, you know, I make this face that's like, okay, what are you looking for? And he's like, Albert. I'm like, yes. Oh my God. I didn't have to like cry or, you know, go up front and go, I don't know where my lawyer is, but this is what I want to do. So, oh, it was wonderful. He takes me out. I fill out some forms. They had the wrong form out in the aisleway. The wrong form. So we fill out the wrong form in another form. I sign everything. He goes up, hands it to the judge. Oh, we go sit down, right? And he asks me questions. You know that this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing. When you sign off on his paperwork, you've given up these rights. You know, and it was a litany of things. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. And I talked to my lawyer about this whole thing a month ago. And he's like, this is a really good plea deal. Just go with it. I'm like, okay, I'm going with it. So they asked me questions. Then they asked me, they asked the prosecutor to read the charges and then to say what the plea deal was. And then to say, you know, what their perspective on the whole thing was. And then they asked me questions. And they were like 3 or 4 questions. And they asked me the questions that I was pleading guilty to. And I'm like, yep. Yes, that was me. Yep. Yes, Your Honor. And we were done. They realized I had the wrong form. My lawyer filled out the right one. I signed it, handed it over. They sent me to the probation officer. That was fun. Made me fill out a book that was like this thick. And everything in that thing, and everything in this form I was filling out was like, do you have parents? Yes. Are they alive? Yes. What are their names? What's your relationship with them? who are your siblings? What's your relationship with them? You know, are any of them alcoholics or on drugs? You know, and just this list of things that I'm like, this is so dark. You know, sitting there, I'm laughing because I'm like, dude, this is, what are you doing? You're telling people that they come from trash. You're blaming their environment for them doing something that wasn't the way the law wants you to do that. And I just sat there like, no wonder people are habitual, you know, offenders. You're leading them to it. You don't say things like, hey, what does your support network look like? Please list off the people that you go to when you need help. What are their relationship to you? How close are you to them? You know, that kind of thing. Not, hey, you know, how many of your family are on drugs or in law or in incarceration or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, good God. Then they're asking, who are your friends, or do you have close friends? How many? And I'm like, okay, this is a decent question. I'm like, 4. I have more. I just put 4 down. And then I said, how many of them are on drugs or are alcoholics? And I'm like, what? There are many ways to ask a question. That guy's hot. Sorry. Squirrel. Many ways to ask a question, and the way they asked these questions were highly inappropriate and slanted in a way that, you know, really did not make the community look good. So I was quite offended. But as I'm looking at this list of things that I'm not allowed to do for my probation, one of them said, leave the state without permission from the court. And I'm like, I don't live here. So when the lady's like, oh, okay, where do you, or you live in Indiana, right? And I'm like, no, I live in Kentucky. She's like, what? I said, I live in Kentucky. I don't live here. I don't have a place to live here. And she's like, okay, there's a lady you need to talk to. I'll get her. It's just some extra paperwork that she fills out for you, and it's not a big deal. Okay, that's cool. So she goes to talk to the lady, comes back, and she's like, yeah, she doesn't have time to see you. It must have been like, you know, coffee break or something. I'm really not impressed with Bartholomew County, Indiana on any level, period. End of story. So basically she says, we'll just send you the forms. It'll be fine. I'm allowed to leave the state. You are allowed to leave the state. Okay. So I got my sorry ass up, walked to my car, drove to Edinburgh Outlet Mall, and got my cologne. And I walk into this place. I'm talking to my sister on the phone, by the way, because I'm explaining what happened. And this lady is helping me. I must have been the first customer she had all day. And it was like 11. So she comes over and I said, I want Kenneth Coors Mankind. And she gave me a different name. I messed up every part of this guy's name. And she's just like, that ain't who it is. And then she told me. And I'm like, I don't care, give it to me. I got enough for 2 years. The last time I bought it was, actually it lasted 2.5 years. The stuff I bought that I got on Amazon that was supposedly a pheromone driven one, that smells like frankincense or myrrh or whatever. It does not good. I do not appreciate that scent. I am not that person. I would say this has got more of a flowery, fruity smell to it, which, yeah, more like me. Fruity. But so yeah, it's been a day. Oh wow, he's walking by again. This guy's hot. I'd show him off, but I think that goes against some rules. He's just beefy. So yeah, came home. Boo and I have been like lounging. I was supposed to go to the gym. That ain't happening. My self-care was buying myself cologne. My self-regulation is what I call it. Buying myself cologne. This lady wanted to talk for hours, by the way, because she was lonely and bored. And I was like, I just want to buy my stuff and leave. This is why I go through the self-checkout, because I don't want to talk to people. Just some days, no people. Just bugger off. I'm done with people. So, get home, we've been cuddling slash me getting, like, almost got dishes done. And oh my God, I need to do that. One of the guys that I'm talking to here in town asked me out for dinner. So, and I'm sitting there like, I haven't blown him off. Every time he's asked, and this is what he does. I hope he's not listening, but if he is, if you are, recognize these are triggers. I work 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So, just so we're aware, I get up at 5 because it takes half an hour to get to work, and I need time to go from asleep to awake, and awake enough to drive. So that takes a hot minute. So he wanted to do dinner. I said, dinner would be great. I'm all for dinner. And then he said, oh, afterwards we could go to the Crossings, and there's a drag show. And I'm like, those don't start till late. None of them start early. I'm like, we're gonna do dinner at 7, and then it'll be like 7 to 8, maybe 8:30. Yeah, it could go later, depending on how the conversation goes. But after that, dude, I have to get to bed. I have to work tomorrow. I don't know what it is with people that just don't catch that. I'm like, I can do dinner, but I can't do anything else because my sorry ass has to get up at 5 a.m. And I am not going into work half days tomorrow because somebody wanted me to go do this thing that I'm okay with, but it's not like it's not like going to a Taylor Swift concert. And I go, ah. And you're all like, Taylor Swift, really? I'm just coming up with a name. Beyonce. Beyonce would be a cool concert. But, yeah. So that has been my day. And I was planning on starting my diet today, and obviously that's not happening because we're going to eat Mexican. And everybody knows what happens when I eat Mexican. I get the biggest burrito they can make, and then whine that it's not spicy enough, because it won't be. It's kind of obnoxious how that works. I need to find a good Tex-Mex place here in town, because I like Tex-Mex. After going to Mexico and eating Mexican food, and then going to Texas and eating Tex-Mex, I realized that the thing that I love the most is Tex-Mex, because Mexican food is really, really bland. And I'm not kidding. They don't eat like that. Texans do. And when you're right on the border, it is amazing. I was in Laredo. Best Tex-Mex I've ever had in my life, and it was hot, and it was just spot on. Everything was perfect. And then over in Monterey, and well, we were in Saltillo, go to a restaurant, and they're serving food, and you're like, do you have any sauce for this? Salsa meat sauce. And they bring it out, and they're like, oh, this is our sauce. And I'm like, this is really bland. This tastes like tomato juice. Do you have anything spicier? And I kept saying caliente, which is completely wrong. It's picante. Picante means spicy. I'm like, muy picante, mucho picante, grande mucho picante. And they laughed at me because I sound like a 2-year-old talking. But who cares? They bring out something and I'm like, okay, we're good. Obviously, you guys don't do spicy. But yeah, I like spicy. Give me something with habanero in it. I'm like, ooh. Now, mind you, the next day, no. My body hates me. But, so that was my day. I just wanted to like, spread the joy. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. It definitely was a letdown from my anxiety levels. I just sat there like, what? This is it? I'm good. It was all procedural. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Do you understand this? Did you do this? Yes? Okay. You're going to get money back. I'm going to get money back. I'm so proud of myself. So the court costs and all the other crap that goes with it comes out of my bail money, and the rest that's left over comes to me, and that's going straight into the credit card that it came out of. Yeah. I'm starting to pay some credit card down, so this will be good. I'm going to get my shit together. I've actually got it so my life is not such a shit show. I love you guys. I love you, dude. Thanks.